welcome to the channel. I'm Summer. Today we are going to be creating beautiful, versatile curtain bangs that blend into a flowy face frame, creating lots of movement through the cut that allows you to show off that beautiful face of yours. I'm also going to be showing you different ways that you can style your curtain bangs and face frame so you are always rocking a beautifully perfected hairstyle. A big thank you to Skin Research Institute for sponsoring today's video. With that being said, let's get started. All right, so we're gonna hop directly into our cut today of these curtain bangs and face frame that we're gonna be creating. I have her separated already, sectioned off right behind the ear. We are not going to be cutting any of this back. I might at the very end to blend, but the focus of this cut today is creating our curtain bangs and our face frame layers and then showing you guys some good styling tips. So as you can see, it's quite long. I used this mannequin, I think it was my last video. We did long layers and it was actually a side part. So she has a little bit of unevenness because we went to the middle. So curtain bangs are always gonna be a middle part. You can do them on the side, but they lose that whole like swoop and the butterfly feel. So what we're gonna do first is cut our guide. So we're gonna come in and we're gonna do our triangle sections, and that's gonna come to the edge of the eyebrow. So you're gonna have a little bit of angling here. And we're gonna take just a little bit at first. You can comb this back or clip it out of the way. And we're gonna match that on the other side. Come down to the edge of that brow. And this is gonna get pushed back to create our guide. And then where I like to take this front hair is I will have the comb on the head. And where it starts to leave the head is where you're gonna take the top section of that triangle. I just kicked the stand. So now that we have that, we're just gonna comb this straight down. And we wanna see where we're gonna set how long or short the curtain bang is. So this is all personal preference. I always say start off longer. You can always go shorter once they're too short. It's a big pain in the butt. So we're gonna be bringing these up quite a bit from where we were, but still I'm gonna start it right above the lip. This is gonna allow for some nice swoop and movement, and then I'll probably bring it up a tiny bit, but for right now, we're gonna start cutting right above that lip. So I'm gonna come in to the center first of this section. We're gonna use the wide side of our comb so we're not pulling with like too much tension and tightness. We're gonna twist it. We're coming all the way to that lip. And you can opt to cut straight across, or to keep it soft, we'll do a little bit of a mild point cut. I can come up just a little bit more. I'm technically to the bottom portion of that lip. Now we're gonna let out this twist. Take a look. A little in this corner. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna angle in to these sides to create our guide. So you'll just take this hair right at the middle. And I like to sort of nick that outer corner to soften it so it starts creating that swoop. So what I'm gonna do is I come across the face, and you're gonna bring it a little bit closer to the nose. You're not over directing, but a little bit just more so straight down. We're gonna have our fingers down at an angle, and this is my corner that I'm gonna nick off. So we're gonna come in at an angle because we're creating that swoop, and we're just gonna cut straight down. So we already have our guide going, and we're gonna match on the other side. So again, I've come across the face. We're coming down at an angle. And I'm gonna actually come up from it because I find that easier than trying to go this way. And we're gonna nick off this corner. So I can see my shorter piece, or it's the guide really, I should say. It's just the other side of the guide because you're at an angle, and you're just gonna blend right up into that. We're gonna let that fall. We have a nice angle. And then what I like to do is we'll comb down, and I need to blend in just a little bit right in here before we move into more cutting. So I have a little bit more of an angle there, and I need to just right in this middle, take that in. Perfect. So with curtain bangs and this face frame that we're gonna be cutting today, what's so nice about it is that you can style the hair multiple ways and use different tools to create even similar looks with your curtain bang. I'm gonna be showing you guys later exactly how to style this haircut with the curl cue from the Skin Research Institute. This is a 5 tools in one set. So you get 3 titanium curling barrels. So you're gonna be able to create tight or loose waves with your hair. You get a ceramic straightening brush that allows for shine and smoothness. And my personal favorite is the volumizing heated round brush. I love the volume and bounce this gives me, and it's one of the most helpful tools actually when it comes to styling curtain bangs. So these are all interchangeable too, which is nice. They can just be switched out, one right over to the next on one handle. And then a tool like this, it's also great for the fact that you can create any look, but in today's case, any of these tools can be used to actually style your curtain bangs. So that means that if you struggle with one tool more than the other, you're still going to be able to get your hair looking amazing how you want it to. The curl cue reaches your set temperature within 90 seconds, and it has heat temps that go as high as 450. So any hair texture, you can find a setting that works for your hair type. It also has a 45-minute auto shut off, so you never have to worry about accidentally leaving it on and then panicking while you're gone if you're gonna burn your house down or not. And then the swivel cord helps to make sure that you never have tangles. It's nice and long as well. And with it being just one tool, it means that you only have one cord to mess with. So it's gonna keep things very nice and organized for you. The curl cue was designed to help you say goodbye to styling frustrations and leave you with flawless hair. I will leave a link in the description for you below, as well as a discount code that can be used with any promo being run on their site at the time of purchase. Thank you, Skin Research Institute, for partnering with me again. I always enjoy their tools, and I really think you will too. All right, so now that we have the basis of the guide set, the last thing we're gonna do is just check our outer corners. So I'm gonna grab all this hair into my comb, and we're gonna come straight down, and those meet up really well. The corners are even, so we know everything's gonna blend. So what we're gonna do is now blend this in to the rest of our hair. We have quite a bit of length, so we're gonna get a nice, real flowy, open face frame. I love these types of haircuts. So we're still gonna move in sections. You know me, I do not like to take just one big swoop. It just leaves room for more error to happen, that you're gonna have to go back in and cut more than maybe what you're thinking to. And if you're somebody who doesn't dry cut, you always take sections, okay? And you need to be dry cutting, but sections when wet, no matter what. So all we're gonna do is we're gonna comb this again, straight down. Similar into position with the nose. I'm not over directing across the face because I wanna remove a little bit more length. I really wanna open this up so you can see the shape of the face. If you over direct over, you often leave some length and thickness, which is great for a lot of hair types, but in this case, we're trying to cut more to open that face up. So we're gonna come straight down with it. We're at that nose. I can see my guide here. So what I'm gonna do, I let that out, I meet it, and we're just gonna sliver straight down. And I'm trying to keep a straight angle as I glide down. I'm not trying to pull towards me or pull away. We're trying to go straight down with it. So I have a little bit more right here I need to cut, because sometimes even taking these sections with the hair being longer, you have to go back through So this hair right here, come over it, glide down, or you could cut up on it too, whatever you're comfortable with. So we're going to take our next section. Comb that hair forward. So we have more hair right here to cut up by our top sections. And I'm going to actually clip this out of the way so I don't touch it. So again, we're combing straight down. I've got hair in here I need to cut. And just follow your guide. Gonna grab the rest of this hair. We're gonna be cutting further down the head now. Right in here is where my guide starts. A little bit more angling I need to do, just a little bit. So you can see we have a nice angle forming that's still keeping length, but we're much more open now around the face. So this is gonna have a lot of bend and swoop. So we're gonna take, this is our last section. Again, we're gonna comb that forward to the front to come down. See where you need to cut with your guide. We're right at that nose. Comb the rest of that hair forward. And we have this length all down here. So what I like to do after I have the basis of that length cut, I'll look at this from a side angle and I'll comb it down. Sometimes the shoulders can be a little bit hard at this part, so if only we could remove the head fully, right, from the body sometimes when cutting, especially if we're cutting our own hair. And I'm just gonna take a look at that and see if I think I need to blend in anywhere. I feel like maybe just the slightest bit right here in that corner. But first, yeah, just a little bit. So if you can get it to lay nice and smooth, because we're not cutting a lot, you can just come up right into that because I can see my angle. And then we have just this tiniest bit of length we need to remove. So I'm coming in at an angle again with my scissors, and we're just blending right into that. So now what we're gonna do to layer this, just to remove a little bit more weight, make sure it's nice and blended, we're gonna start at our back. So I'll show you how big this section is. And we're gonna come all the way up with it. And we're gonna work our way over and across. And we're just gonna nip this hair that's left out. So I'll show it to you on this other camera angle. We're gonna take our section. We're gonna come all the way up and over. And the hair that's left out, cut. So now we are going to cut the other side to match it up. And I will probably need to spritz the hair. clip that out of the way for now. Let this down. And we're gonna spritz just a tiny bit. So same thing, but again, I like to come up from the bottom, typically when I'm on the opposite side of the head here. We're gonna take our first section, just a little bit at a time, comb this hair back. And we're gonna comb that hair straight down. We're at the nose. I'm twisting. I can see my guide right here. And we're gonna come from the bottom and work our way up. We're gonna grab more of our hair. Combing. We're gonna go down, try to stay in a straight line, try not to over direct it. Come up from the bottom, blend into your guide. And then if you want it to sliver, you can. It's personal preference. I sometimes will do a little bit of both, but I typically like to come up from the bottom. I just find it easier for myself. We're going to take our next section, comb this back. Again, I have to come a little bit higher up because we're over directing this hair forward. My guide though is right up here. Always go to your longest piece, and then I will turn my scissors a little bit because that preserves a little bit more length. And we've got our final section here. I can see my guide through here. Turn, cut. So before I cut my layers, what I'm gonna do is let out my length here on this other side, and we're gonna check our bottom lengths to see how they're matching up first. So I'm gonna stand in front of the client and bring that straight down. And that bottom length is closer than I actually thought it would be. So we're going to come in here and check and blend these in, same as we did on the other side. We're gonna come straight up and all the way across. And we're gonna cut that hair. Straight up, all the way across. Cut. So now what I'm going to do is just come through and check my very top perimeter. We're just gonna do this classic. I'm gonna come right at the ear here, similar to how I took those back sections. Just this, do that on both sides. And we're gonna bring both sections all the way up. Ooh, look at that. Just right in the middle. And barely anything, actually. Then we'll grab our two final pieces of hair here and do the same thing for these front sections. And I'm using the wide side of my comb. A little bit more in here. So when you notice this, because that's quite a little bit of a gap there. When you notice this, rather than cutting straight across, I'll opt to angle it in a little bit, and I'm gonna point cut into it just to keep that nice and soft. I just don't want a hard, blunt line. And now that I've cut that, what I'll do is one more final time in that front section. We're gonna comb it forward again and twist and just take out that little snip of hair. Perfect. All right, so I'm gonna let out her back length now. And again, she was quite long. The original cut that this had, it was all about keeping the layers shorter, but like not jeopardizing the length and the natural density and thickness of the hair. So all we're gonna do now is we have to blend in this back length to the face frame, which is super easy. You're basically just gonna bring the hair from the back of the head forward as if it's just an extension of the face frame. So we're gonna come split this in the middle. The side you're not cutting first, just push that over the shoulder. Yeah, and you can see right here. So all we're gonna do, a little bit at a time, we're just gonna comb straight down, and you're just gonna blend it in the same as you did with your face frame. So I see my guide here, and then just sliver on down at an angle. Take my next section. Just a little bit, and we might not have any of this final back section. If anything, I'm just gonna round it out a little bit. I'm not gonna bring it all, well, let's see. Just barely. Perfect. And then what I like to do is take a look at that from the back view. I think just this little corner could be nipped. Yeah, just to blend it in. And then we're just gonna round that off. So we're moving just a tiny, tiny bit of length. And then what you can do is take a little bit more hair from this next side first to sort of give you two guides, essentially. Comb that straight down, meet your guideline. And now we're gonna come around and blend into our face frame on the other side of the head. So you can see right in here, we got a lot of hair to blend. Let's take a look at this back corner. And we just gotta meet these right there. Not a lot either. Nice and easy. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get her dried. I'm gonna dry all of her back, and then I will show you the really easy ways that you can style and get the different looks with all these tools from the Curl Cube, and I'll show you guys all the good stuff. Okay. So I do want to show you before we start with the tools how I would blow it out typically, because I feel like it's like a pain in the butt sometimes to try to blow it dry. Usually the smaller the brush, the more bend and bounce you're going to get. The bigger the brush, the flatter it's going to look. So I blew her out with a brush this size, so it's quite a bit bigger, and it created just a really flat shape. I did over direct them. And this is how you would do it regardless of your brush size. I come up and I over direct them across the face, and I will wrap them up I'll hit it with my blow dryer. I run the heat on it, and then I continue to twist it, twist it, twist it, and I'll let it fall out. That's always the way I feel like it gets the best look. In my experience, if I roll them up and over like this, sometimes they can just get like too bouncy and then they don't split right. So I have always taken it where I over direct across the face and you hit it. You can wrap all the hair into the brush and then you would twist out. But that does require a little bit of practice and skill. So I'm gonna show you a much easier way to do it, and I'm very, very excited. So what I'm gonna do, so we get some good comparisons, because you guys know I love a good comparison video. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do one side of the head first with the flat straightening brush to show you how you can still actually create a lot of shape and bend. And then I'm gonna use my favorite one here, the heated round brush, to show you how much more volume it gets. And then we'll end with a curling iron to show you how, if you really want to kick up a lot of volume and movement, how the curling iron works great for that. And so what you want to do, once your hair is all dry, and we're just going to be focusing on the front here, I will just come in, and you're going to section it off similar to how you would if you're flat ironing or curling, okay? So just take your top section of hair here, clip this rest of the hair out of the way. We're going to grab our brush, or straightening brush. This kit does come with a glove, so you can use a glove if you want to, but you can't rest your hands here and you're not gonna burn yourself. I like risking it all, and I don't care if I burn myself. I've done it enough times as a stylist, but you can wear a glove. But again, I'm touching it and it's okay. So we're gonna take our section and you're gonna first warm it up. So we're gonna run the brush through it about 2 to 3 times to warm that hair up, because when the hair is warm, you're able to work it into the shape that you want. So come in, we're gonna pull, and I'm really kind of curving the hair here to bend it. So it's curving out to the outer edge, and that twists it in really nice. Again, because with the curtain bang and these face framing layers, you really want to create a lot of shape and movement with them. So this gives you a more sleek look, but you still get the bend. So come in, we're pulling it. You can rest that hand on top. You're twisting and you're getting it to round out on the corner there and come in towards the face. Oh, so nice. So now we're gonna go to the top section. So I like to do this final top section actually going away from the face, just so you have this nice contrast where you're swooping in and then the top layers are going out. So we're gonna come to this back section. We're gonna warm it up. If you wanna create volume, you can lift this hair straight up and place your brush in and go up with it a couple times to create a little bit of height while you warm up the hair. And then you're just going to round back with it. And it just creates a little bit more swoop going away from the face. We have the front top section of our bang. And same thing. We're gonna round back. So now to do the actual curtain bang. If you wanted to, you could break this into 2 sections, but this is actually not as thick as I would have thought. And you're gonna grab that hair, and like we would with a brush, we're gonna go over the face. So I'm gonna lift this up, get that heat on the hair, and then we're gonna come, place that in, and go across and over the face. So that creates just a little bit more bend than what we had. And if you want to really over direct it, place the brush on the back side of the hair. You're going to twist it forward and curve that through. So to show you a difference, this side we just did a quick straight blowout. I didn't do a bunch of roundness. And then here on this side, we have used the straightening brush to still create a lot of bend, and it still creates a straight look, but lots of shape. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn this off, and I'm going to just simply take this off. It's nice and easy. You could use a towel if you wanted to, or that glove, remove it. And we're gonna put on the heated round brush, and I'm gonna do this other side to show you guys how much more volume it gets. And then you can just simply lock it into place. So we're gonna take similar sections, exactly the same. So we've got our first section. And now with the round brush, we're gonna create a little bit more volume. So what you're gonna do is sort of similar to the straightening brush. We're gonna run that through to heat up that hair 2 to 3 times. Because again, when the hair is warm, we can create the shape that we want. So once the hair is heated up, I'm gonna turn her to the other side now. We're gonna wrap all this hair into this heated brush, similar to how you would a regular round brush if you were to blow dry, and you're gonna roll that all the way in. You can stay off of the scalp if you want, if you're nervous about getting too close to your scalp. And you can do count of 10 seconds or so. So I'll show you one more time. You're gonna heat up that hair. We're gonna place it in. And we are wrapping this hair fully into the brush. And then when you come up, you're gonna rotate it if you wanna get a little extra bend. And you're gonna let that out. And look at how much more bouncy that is. Now, if you didn't want quite as much swoop, you could opt to not wrap it up fully and just glide it through and round it out, but we're gonna leave that for now. We're not gonna touch it because we wanna preserve the volume. Because this is a face frame, I'm gonna take 2 sections just so it's easier and we don't have hair falling out. Same thing. Heat it up 2 to 3 times. You're gonna wrap that hair all the way in. And then if you wanna rotate the hair back, you can. And you get a nice swoop. This hair we're gonna rotate back because that's what we did on the other side. And just rinse and repeat. So I'll be curious in the comments which you guys prefer best out of all these 3 looks. If you like it more smooth and sleek, if you like it with this volumizing brush, or if you're gonna like it with the curling iron. And our final curtain bang. Again, use that glove that comes with this. If you're worried about burning your hand, if you touch the barrel directly, you will get burnt, so just be careful if you don't use a glove. And we're gonna lift this straight up and away from the face and let that fall. So we're gonna let it fully cool down before I touch it. That's key, like I said, even with this side, try not to touch it until the hair is cooled down so you maintain this shape. But you can already see how much more bounce and volume it creates compared to the ceramic side. So it comes down to just personal preference. This is a lot smoother looking, but you still see the shape, where here we've really lifted it up and created more volume. Quite the difference. So now, final one, We're gonna switch out and do a large barrel curling iron so you can see your final look. We're gonna use the 1 1/4 inch iron, and we're gonna drop our heat down even lower. When you are using the curling iron this way, you want very low heat, so I'm going all the way down to 240. So we're gonna come back to this straight side we did, and I'm gonna do the same exact sectioning. And you wanna keep the sections actually a little bit larger than normal. So we have our similar size section. With this, we're gonna be rolling actually away from the face. So you're gonna hold it straight up, and you're just gonna rotate it away from the face, similar to regular curls, and then just let it straight out. We're just trying to create a little bit more bend and movement. And again, it's low heat. If you do this on too high of heat, you're gonna curl the hair. Come in, next section. It's usually about 3 sections in the sides. Very top section, clamp side is gonna be in front, and we're rotating the hair, just gliding that through. And then right here in front of your actual curtain bang, we're gonna take it and just quickly glide that through to heat it up. If you wanna create more bend, you can leave it in a little bit longer. And then we're gonna run our hands through it. And then here you can see the final difference. So the heated round brush really kicks it up a little bit more. You could shorten this if you wanted more curl, but you do just have a little bit more shape through the sides. So there we have the 3 different ways that we can style the hair. And I'm gonna do one final good spin for you guys and get you guys out of here. All right, guys, here is a quick recap of the hair to show you side by side all of the tools. So we have, again, the heated straightening brush that creates a lot of shape and movement still, but with a more smooth look. We also have the heated round brush, which is my personal favorite to create just a little bit more volume, bounce, and bend. And then lastly, we have the curling iron option. So I don't really think you can go wrong with one option over the other. I think it just comes down to personal preference, and I can't wait to hear which look was your favorite. The curl cue will be linked below along with that discount code. Thanks for watching, and I'll leave you with this video right here to check out.